Eight wins. Do we want 8 wins? Do 8 wins. Do we want 8 wins? Do 8 wins. Do we want 8 wins? Do 8 wins. Do we want 8 wins? Here's 8 wins. It's nothing without vibrations. And it is my duty to try to raise them high as I possibly can. That was impressive. All right. Didn't know it could do that. Good evening. This is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am 8 Wind, and I am timeless. It all started with a gentle sadness. I am the holder of the continuous ball game created by the Hero Twins. You each have your own continuous ball game. It's something that can't be denied to you. I am your galactic daddy-o, sitting on my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. And we're going to start off, since Crazy Sarge is with us, an opening from a gift, 8 Wind Eagle Time Lord, from my man Crazy Sarge. Oh, this has got some girth. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it is, I believe this is Dragonstone or Dragonstone. Crazy Sarge, is this Dragonstone? Wow, this is really well made. Slightly different style. You know, I'm into fractals and detail. Dragon's Blood Jasper. Yeah. Look how beautiful that is. Now, this is interesting. Yeah, this is really, and it's slightly elongated. They've taken a different approach. And I'll show you what I mean. Now, this is bloodstone. But if you look at the two, they've taken a different approach. You see what I mean? Maybe my hands are in the way. Which is really cool. It's really cool. And I really like, and what it, I don't have, yeah, I don't have any out here, but I see the style that they've used, and it's really, this is unique. Very beautiful. You called it bloodstone. Bloodstone. So it's a type of jasper. So let's see if it's under jasper or bloodstone. It probably is old. No. What you called it? Dragon's blood. Dragon's blood. Excuse me. So it's probably under jasper. I would guess. Because I have some picture jasper. Let's see if Melody has a different name for it. But yes, I'll get. Thank you so much, Crazy Sarge. I'm going to get it to give me its name. Well, whenever it's ready to reveal its name. Yes, and I can. In fact, I'll cleanse it while we'll watch. I think I have my essential oil up here. Yes, I think they both have it just under jasper, which that grows everywhere up here. Huh. I wonder if it's that too. Let me see. 348. Well, let's see. Let me go to just her basic, because there's so many different jaspers. Is a formable beak, usually patterned chalcedony formations. Colors include dark red, orange, yellow, tan, brown, green, gray, and blue. It occurs in configurations containing stripes or banding. It is known as a supreme nurturer. It acts as a reminder that one is not here on the physical plane just for oneself, but is here to bring joy and substance to other assistance and the release of containment. It's conductive to awareness, allowing one to celebrate situations of isolation. It helps one to realize that one is always remembered by others who can usually be called upon to provide insight, example of those who send loving energy toward one's physical manifestation. It's been worn by Yanis through space-time, and I'm thinking she's calling it, yeah. Because looking at it, I think this is she's calling it rose eye jasper, I think. Helps provide a protective and secure environment, both physical and mental. It can help one increase the inventive actualization of one's life, providing for rapid rationality, for common sense allied with the all-knowing universe present. Can further assist in all acts of dispersing, and dissentation. Dispersing, configuration, crowds, growth, despairing. It appears to be very supportive, reassuring. A helpful stone can be used in the treatment of pneumonia. And see what's his name? Yeah, Robert Simmons. See what he has to say about it. This is fun to me, so I'm sorry. I'll say what's up in a second. This is fun to me. To see the potential, to share the potential. And yeah, I'll send this energy out to everybody too. Here we go. 260. And jasper is very it's a lot of jasper. It's just as much jasper up here as I would dare say is pink granite. It's jasper everywhere up here. I'm trying to think where my big pieces of jasper are. It can help enhance one's endurance and stamina, can work over time to increase the amount of chi or life force in one's energetic field. It strengthens the root chakra, strengthens one's connection to the earth. It enhances memory, especially of dreams and other inner experiences. Its energy is so stable that it tends to stabilize one's own energies if one wears or carries it. Wow. In its environment. Such stabilization can lead to good health, balanced emotion, truthful expression, and just actions. This stone has a kind of down-to-earth nobility and simply rubs off on the owner. So it's okay. He has it in the fancy jasper. Yeah. He has it in the fan because there's a picture here. It's this picture looks like, I think that's what they have it in the fancy jasper. But I'll show you, this is, let me see if it's here. I know I scraped something off with it. It's gotta be right. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, and this is when I get a new stone, if you can wash it, a lot of times I will wash it under the sink. But kind of what I was just doing when I started, when I get a new stone, I anoint it. And so I hit it with the oils. And this is really well made. I'm really impressed because they put a little notch on here, knowing that they sit, they hit a nice little notch. That is really, it's helpful. That's really thoughtful too, thoughtful for the owner. So I anoint it with essential oils. And I put it in the middle of my big singing bowl. And I clear the energies with it. Starting to move a little bit on me. It gives a little distortion. I'm starting to appreciate that distortion that it gives. And then this is what I'll show you exactly what I do. And I'll sit down with it. And of course, I'm doing this mentally, but I'll think it for landing to me, extra thanking Crazy Sarge, but I thank it for coming to me, of being chosen, choosing me, and coming to me. I appreciate the journey you've taken. And the biggest thing I tell all my stones when I bring them in, I tell them I have no expectation of you at all. And what I'm saying is I don't expect it to really do really anything, because if it just looks pretty, that's fine. But if, like, skulls have names and they'll tell you their names. Now you might get frustrated and say, well, the skull never told me its name, because some skulls will just snap the names right to you. It's like, what do you want to be called? They'll be like, boom, call me this. Like my stone called Victor. Boom, the one called Jeffrey. They just gave me their names. And a lot of times, if they don't say a name, if you start thinking of names, and then the name will stick. And so the communication, like even my chairman Fred, he's been dynamite, but he hasn't really communicated the name, but he doesn't disagree with Chairman Fred. That was my name when I bought him. That was one of the reasons why. Well, it kind of bought itself and sent itself to me. So they each are different, but and that's what I tell them. I really don't have any real expectation, because I don't want to put a burden on it, thinking that it has a burden. No, I'm not going to put that on any of my new stones. And then I tell it that I would be very pleased and joyful if it did activate and we did connect. And so that's kind of how I handle new stones. And I'll spend some time meditating with it. And again, seeking the name if it wants to give the name out. But yeah, this is really beautiful. Really, I love the work. Almost like a Nike swoosh. Really well made. Because what you see in the thickness in here is a lot of times the way they make small skulls, like my Numite skull. They'll make a thickness in here just because they're working with such small material. But they did that style by choice, because this is fairly big material. I mean, it probably started with as a chunk about that big. So they had choice. So very impressed. Thank you so much. It will get a lot of work done. Thank you, though. That's very nice. Well, I'm still working, and gosh, it really doesn't show on the camera too well. Still working on the Shugite and the CBD oil. And this is 250 milligrams of CBD. It's quite thick. Going out. Don't know if you'd want the Shugite on your hands going out. If you're in, though, it's not hurtful to put the Shugite on. I'll say this, I put both on earlier, and I really have a lot of pain in here, and really it's not bothering me. It's not that stiffness is gone. I've had it in both hands. I will say this, the CBD doesn't tighten your skin as much as just pure Shugite. You cover your hands with almost pure Shugite, you feel a tightening, a really tightening. I noticed that the less I use, because this is basically just some powder, like even this powder right here on my hands, just this kind of thing. This is very kind of just low. It's really, you don't need much to kind of get it in there and get it deep penetrating. I notice on my ankles, it's still on my ankles and not coming out. I'm going to be kind of embarrassed when I wear my slides or my, what are these damn Crocs? So, but as I just took a little piece of the powder that I have here, because it's kind of everywhere, and, just kind of applied it like this. And like the areas that you would feel worse, just kind of put it there. Okay, let me catch up. I'm sorry, guys. I wanted to get all that out the way. So Derek, what's happening? Yes. Crazy Sarge, thank you again. PJ, what's happening? Tiger Strong, what is going on? Dragon's Blood Jasper, yes. Sebastian, had me some very hot. Oh, you had some some hockey puck sausage. Read my soul, my man, and he's like me. We love the sneakers. Um, Gosh, I wish one day I'm gonna have to. I wish I'd have an illustrator that could illustrate some of the shoes I bought since I was a little boy, like the Beta Bullets, the Bill Russell wore, Red Ball Jets. Um, yeah, even the Pro Kids I wore my senior year that had the padding in the ankle. This is also called Dragonstone. Yeah, okay. Is a stone of creativity, courage, strength, and personal power. It's actually not a jasper, hence is also known as Dragonstone instead. Okay. I was looking for that. And I didn't think they had that listed. I don't want to get all this black stuff. Yeah, I didn't see that listed. So I could be wrong. Yeah, these books don't, this one doesn't have that listed. I didn't see it. Melody's a little more diverse in her listings. Well, thank you, Crazy Sarge, for all that, for that information. Because Melody does not. Yeah, Melody doesn't. Getting black stuff in the book, crap. Yeah, Melody, yeah, or him does not have it. Interesting. Well, thank you. Those are the possibilities. And he says the possibilities. Dragonstone is a stone of creativity, courage, strength, personal power. It actually not a jasper, and hence is also known as Dragonstone instead. So it's just Dragonstone or blood or dragon blood. Yeah. Okay. I get what I think they put it under the fancy thing. Yeah. That's what it looked like on the page of pictures that look like near. Well, thank you, Sebastian. That's kind of you to suggest that. It helps awaken the Kundalini energy in us and helps activate the Earth's Kundalini dragon energy. And that's one thing of South America. You know, a lot of the Curucuoro is the dragon energy or the feathered serpent, as the Aztecs called it. How can I stop being scared of people? By facing people. By facing people. That's the biggest way. I mean, it's no other way. It's like if you, in college, we had to take a public speaking class for communication. And that was one of the, almost every, it was kind of a money-making venture too. But I didn't care. I was on scholarship. But it was like they made almost every what do you call it? I can't even think of what you call it. Your program that you're going on, what you're going after. Almost every major is the word, and that was right there. And every major had to take communication class. Almost every universal in the whole college. But it did some good things for public speaking because first they would let you practice in front of the class, and then they would let you practice in front of everybody. Or then they would let you do your speech, and it was a time limit you had to do, and it was a lot of cards of speaking because type pages is a lot of pages. So just facing people, practice on people that you trust, like people that you trust and like. Practice approaching them. Practice even making up conversations and stuff. Now, if this is giving you an anxiety, I mean, you're really going to have to face that. You're going to have to turn and face it, because you're not going to get away from people. Now, if you're lucky enough to work for yourself and work alone, then it would pass. But if you have to work for others, that would hinder you. And so you don't want to be hindered. You want to be, so I don't think it's scared of people. It's just you're probably shy. I know I'm shy, but just turn that shyness around naturally. Oh, Read My Soul says, I live in Jasper country. Yeah, it's a lot of Jasper here too. A lot of the red Jasper that's here. It's very common. It's like I was saying, pink granite and basalt and Jasper are throwaway rocks here, or rock fills. Yep. Hey, HSI, finally got here early for once, but can't stay for long. I'll be here for tomorrow if you live again. Yeah, I'll be on here tomorrow night. I'm going on tomorrow night and Sunday night. Oh, good evening, the one, Aggie Pride. Have you heard of CBD isolate dissolvable powder from China? I've seen others like that. I'm not familiar with that one. I'll look that up though. Definitely think that's worth looking up. I will write it down. Uh, so I have not, but I will look into it because I did see a type of a lot of people are so much kratom uh, that they sell more kratom than CBD because the kratom is it's legal, and the CBD is legal because now you can buy CBD flour. And it comes from China. Okay. I have not looked into that. Anything you can share about that? You'd like to share? Please share. Uh, but I have not. Is there a certain type of way you're supposed to extract the CBD? There's different ways. There's different ways. This one kind of gives you a. I guess this is a fake thing. Um, it just says um, grown hemp derived, no third certified for purity and potency. So there's a lot of different ways. And it says don't put the shit on more than 3 times a day. So there's a lot of different ways they use. They use a lot of different ways. Like with the flour, they just harvest the flour. They do the same exact process, but the flour has less THC, less to almost. Oh, let's get the commercials in. Lurking class. Are you lurking? Severe Nevada Wonderland. I watched a lady in front of me drop a couple $100, bought boxes of wine, and she bought some beer. And she saw this. She was like, I've been wanting to get that. How is that? And I ran it down to her. I gave her the pimp game on it. She's like, I'm going to get that next time. Like, okay. I don't think you need it this time. She kind of giggled. Like, you got plenty there. She bought like a 12 pack and like 3 or 4 boxes of wine. Like, yeah, you getting it on. They call it their nectar ale, but it's a hazy IP. So we'll let that. So pop them if you got them, smoke them if you want them. Forgot that part. And I broke down and I bought the silky shirt. Now this is the silky shirt with the pocket. As I told this story before, back in 73 or 74, the wife beaters like this and this style was in style. All the older cats was wearing it like this. And younger cats that had brothers would get the shirts. And so it was very common. I think it was the summer of 73 or the summer of 74. I forget. I was about in 6th, 7th grade, maybe younger. I remember a cat gave me a brown wife beater, and then some of them had the pattern. Some of them had the pattern like in the shirts. Yeah, kind of like the socks. If you know what thick and thin socks was, they would have that certain pattern run down them. You could get the shirts that had like that thick and thin kind of pattern in it too. But most of all, they was plain. So this was now they say this is the light stuff that you don't sweat. Oh, and it said guaranteed not to stink. So I'm going to take a bunch of these and visit some people I know because it says guaranteed not to stink. I think I'd get my money back. So I really don't know. There's certain ways, but I don't know the whole way how to do it. H inside, I really don't. I will be back in about 20 minutes. Oh, okay. You ain't got to say nothing. Just move in and out, baby. Thank you, though. Thank you, though. Yeah. So I don't know. I'll look it up to see the difference. Offhand, I really don't know. But yeah, Sebastian, just practice with people that you trust. Don't like here's a thing that comes from what is his name? One of them self-help books. But what one thing he puts is action. Action takes away fear. Action takes away fear. And so if you put yourself in action, it will take away the fear. So you almost have to like make yourself do it. Yeah, I'm not gonna wear my ring. It's funny how you can't. Yeah, I guess a little bit. See a little black in my hand. But yeah, action conquers fear. So push yourself. Even like this is a good way to leave your body. Imagine like, okay, so you're in a situation where you just kind of get shy or whatever, and you don't speak up or you don't walk up, and that would be a great way to leave your body. And you could like, a Doctor Strange, he hits him and he leaves his body. Well, that's a way you could step back, and then you could be the one giving your physical body a push. So you could leave your body, but you would have to have the intention that you're going to give yourself the push, because you could just have two parallels of just freezing, but you don't want that. So you have to step out of it and then push, and then as you push, you'd fall back into it. I mean, that may seem a little out there, but that's kind of how you could do it. You could take that, you could do that almost every time. And you could put that on repeat. I'm not going to say the word because some people will look at the word as a type of spelling, but it's nothing wrong to put yourself in a spell too. I'll say that. You can spell on yourself because it's your intention. I was just going to say you could almost put that into a type of spell that would give you that almost automatically, where you in the situation. And it happens. Let me say this. The thought and the action, it will happen in microseconds. So it's not like you leave your body and have this deep conversation. You would train yourself once you left your body to push yourself. And then you'd fall back into yourself with the push. So, but that's almost a type of spell you could put with yourself that, keep you moving, keep you not hesitating. Because anxiety is a motherfucker, really is. I'm planning to travel South America in a couple months. Got any areas that would be good to travel? Do anything hiking, climbing? The pyramids. Like I know my son went to Belize, Veracruz. It's a lot of places. Like the Mayan and the Oman. The Mayans are more like west. Like you go west of South America to the Yucatan. That's where you'd find more Mayan stuff. But yeah, like Veracruz. Here we go. I think this has the map. But like, yeah, so like the Mixtex areas, but like Planaki is in Tabasco. That's where they found these are both in Planaki, and that's in Tabasco. But if you like Veracruz is that Belize? But Veracruz is where the Omen statues are. Then in Mexico, the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon. Guatemala has places, El Salvador, Honduras, but Belize has some of the Mayan pyramids. But if you like like Veracruz and La Venta would be if you wanted to go to the Omen, where they still have some of the heads up. A lot of the heads are in Mexico City. So a lot of the Omen things are in Mexico City, but those are just some places that to visit. And again, just looking at the map, this is kind of southern Mexico going into South America. But a lot of great jungle places, camping, walking. If you can, take a pistol with you, unless you're with a group. If you're going to be by yourself, take some protection. I'll say that. Take some protection. But yeah, those kind of places, a lot of that. I find more, I think, the more fear I have, they cut down your thinking. You're bringing the fear up. So why? Because that can stop your progress in a lot of ways. Because you say the more you think, and then it's not the more you think, it's the thought you bringing in, and you letting those fear programs come in. Don't accept the fear programs. Again, cancel that is a great thing that I use. cancel that, cancel that, cancel that. Learn your, I've said this over and over again, learn your own thoughts. Because more than likely you're getting outside thoughts coming in because you let them come in and kind of grow a little bit. Attachments. We all have attachments. And so the key is to get rid of those attachments. Recognize. Like very, very easy one to, like I was saying, when I would get in it with my first wife, I would tell her, something. I'd be like telling her some shit I know hurt her feelings, and then something would like tell her you hate her. And as I look back, it was like something was feeding that. Something was absolutely feeding this anger in me that wasn't coming from me. It was an attachment that I had picked up through the years. And it was attachment that I used to hurt her too. I noticed that over the years. Because I blamed her for some things that she had nothing to do with. It was my own. But she was there. A lot of times you hurt the ones that love you just because they're there. So yeah, hey Rocky, thank you for joining. I live with mental problems on the daily. I think we all do. We all live with those type of problems. Like I was saying yesterday, I deal with dyslexia. In my mind, Canes is a orange-like building once you get inside. But when I drove yesterday, I didn't recognize the cues because, again, I had an idea of what it's supposed to look like, and that didn't catch my eye. And even though I saw the building next to it, and it's just the way I think doesn't pick these things up. Not saying it's got to be right here. So I understand. I deal with it too. Good. That's good. Read my soul. Keep healing your attachments. Yeah, and they won't come back. Kill them, and they won't come back because there won't be a place for them to come back. I think of thoughts as like a type of ether swirling above, like the heavens above, and there's a portal into my head that random thoughts flow in. Yeah, but you still want to protect that. You still want to protect it. Thoughts create perceptions. Yes. Hey, wellness, Jesse Lynn. Thank you for joining. So, filter the thoughts. That is why Shugite, Sharite is so good. Because they will help you filter those thoughts in. You wore a necklace or you wore a bracelet. You wore a bracelet on your left arm. That it would help with what thoughts came in, and it would start knocking them thoughts away. Fire agate is another thing that's very beautiful for that. Very protective on what's coming in. And as you move through space-time, this shit will hit their asses back. This is almost, I would say, if there was any stone that would be like, what's his name, Green Lantern, it would be this stone. This stone is probably the closest of what would be considered Green Lantern as far as the power it puts out. This is one of the few stones that actually puts power out to people that try to attack you. It catches it and it returns it to the person with a question on why are they attacking you in the first place. Very powerful stone. Again, I don't sell these or anything, but this one really will, as you move around and you're known this essence is in you, it really makes people really not throw negative shit at you because all of a sudden they starting to question shit because it's throwing the shit back at you. And I love this when I go in hospitals and stuff. I didn't take it today, but I have a couple of these. And so really powerful. Again, the silver is going to make it do its highest vibration. But those people, them things out. See, most stones are like, blockers. That one goes after. Okay. Cursive to the UCAN. Cruise ship to the UCAN. Yeah, my daughter last year went to Mexico. They like doing cruises. I look at cruises as just nothing but a floating hotel though. And it's hard for them. I mean, the history of the last 20 years, it's been hard for them to keep the air clean on those ships. And so shit is always going through airborne, people always getting sick. Again, these ships are, 15 stories? If anybody's ever been to Miami and watched these motherfuckers come in, or Orlando, and watch these motherfuckers come in. These is like skyscrapers on the water. When you ever saw a battleship or a damn aircraft carrier, we talking about a ship big as a blocks worth of ship. So a cruise ship is nothing but a floating, casino, mall, but it's a hotel still. What if cruises were cool? I mean, it's a funness to them. I mean, if you had your own like yacht, that's really would be fun. It's fun shit you can do. I mean, they have them set up to have fun. But my thing is, it's just always seemed like it's just some kind of health thing that always hits those. And now they're saying that this is that thing. I don't know. It was like they had problems before. And then remember, the one sunk off of Italy a year or two ago. It was some people from here that was on that boat that got rescued. Remember, it had just hit some rocks and shit, and then that big motherfucker sank. And these people was like living with water for days. They was living in like where this motherfucker was sinking. They was living up in that shit until they got rescued. Not saying they're not fun, because you can have fun. I mean, yeah, they have things for you to do. They have things like the Disney cruise. They have things for the children to do. Shit, the Disney people have a night where, and people been on cruises, they have a night where that you wear tuxes and they supply the tux. They measure you and shit, and you go in a tux. And they would rather put you in the tux than you bring your own. They tell you not to bring your own. They put you in a tux. So you look like you on the Titanic and shit. But that's the thing. So, hey, Dread, thank you for joining me. So I'm not saying they're not cool. I'm just saying they're not for me. I would never go on another one. Because like you can go, you can take one on the Gulf side and go down to the Keys, like 3-4 hours, 6 hours, something like that. And it'll take you from I can't think of the city where my friend lived, but it'll take you down to the Keys. They used to have gambling boats where the boat would go out on sea and be in international waters and you could gamble. So the Titanic. I mean, that's kind of the formal thing they give you. That's kind of the formal thing they give you. And I'll say this, like even touching this little bit of powder, once the lotion goes in, it tends, like I said in my book, I touch my book, but now, I guess a little bit. If I had to do fingerprints, you're seeing a little bit, but not really. Like, not really. So once, even with the Sugarite on, once you rub it in, it doesn't tend to, transfer. Doesn't tend to transfer. But like I'm starting to feel the tightness, and I know it's only been minutes, but I can already feel it's a different thing. It's really a different tightness with the CBD compared to just the with the Sugarite. The Sugarite really, I can feel my skin just that quickly. And I don't know. I imagine if the people get the big turkey necks, you can't have that tightened up. Oh, and I hate on YouTube seeing this pretty young girl that got her lips blowed up. I mean, it's just like, wow. And she's like selling, what is she selling? She's selling the lip stuff too, makeup, and she's highlighting, but it's like, you can look at your pictures like a couple years ago and your lips aren't like that. And it's not attractive on her. It's not. She looked way better the way she looked before. But, she has to look in the mirror. She took the shots to the lips. She has to deal with it. She has to deal with it. And you're beautiful as you feel. I mean, that's no lie. You're as beautiful as you feel. And everyone should feel confidence. Well, what is it? Confidence is not believing, it's knowing. Confidence. That's the line from Narda. And maybe he got that from his Shugi or whatever when he was in India and sat with and supposedly took acid every day for a year, supposedly, but stayed in gardens and meditated and probably hit the highest of realms. But yeah, he said confidence is not believing, it is knowing you are confident. So it's nothing you can believe. If you believe that you're confident, then you're not confident. Because again, you shouldn't believe, you should know. Shouldn't even talk like that. You shouldn't even bring believe up. Well, I believe. No, you don't. Don't catch yourself. Don't say you believe. You know. Because that's the only way you should really operate is knowing, not believing. And that's the problem with, oh, I left my hand exercisers. Okay, I'm going to have to adapt to other ones. Just helps with the hands. Here comes the silverback.
You're recording already?
It's almost 1. Yeah. So I've been going for a minute. Oh, thank you, PJ. Hey, Wayne, have you seen that Serena pick in the European face? Yeah. Potatoes.
Oh, and cheese?
No, they're not cooked. You got to cook them.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
Let me see.
Why would you have to cook that? It's so stupid.
I was going to take that over to your mom's, though.
For what?
Mother's Day. So that is a platter.
What are we doing? We're going over to her house?
I think so.
Oh, so whack.
So, was that Caesar from the 8 movie you saw? Derek said you were Caesars from Planet of the Apes movie. That was him.
Yeah, we did that.
That was him. He said you were Caesar from Planet of the Apes. Now you look like Ma Kettle.
I don't even know who that is.
You got to look that up. Little Abner.
I'm not
Little
looking.
Abner. Ma Kettle had an afro
Kettle.
like that.
Really?
Ma Kettle. Ma and Paul Kettle.
You're like Dr. Eggman.
And you know what's funny is they want to say how lazy brothers and sisters is, and portray it, brothers and sisters in the media being lazy. Look at Ma and Paul Kettle. Paul got like 1,000 children, and he don't really do nothing. Take naps and smoke. That's about, and drink moonshine. You can look at the old Ma and Paul Kettle movie. It's kind of based off of Little Abner, which was a little cartoon on about hillbilly life or West Virginia life. And Paul is one of the laziest characters ever in the movies. Does he remind me of a younger me? I'll say this. None of my children had that killer instinct in them. Now intellect, yeah, his intellect is more like mine, way more like mine. But just that drive, none of my children really picked that up. Now maybe they're in professional lives, they have, but not just that killer instinct that was in me, just to go after things. None of my children really picked that up. But my funniness, my cleverness, they all picked that up. I mean, they're all quick-witted. All my children are very quick-witted. I would dare say that my middle child of these 3, him and his 2 older brothers, he probably is the most quick-witted, because when we sat down, I've said this before, from the time I moved here in 2006, until they were pretty much grown or older teenagers, we always ate together. And one negative about eating together came like pick on the middle child. That kind of was a theme, and we all kind of practiced, but it made him quick-witted. And again, my older son was here too, so it was either be talked about every night or deflect some of that, but it made him very quick-witted. And I always told him, when you tell a joke, you have to know the jokes. You have to have more jokes coming. So you can't, as you're talking about somebody, you got to have 2 or 3 more jokes coming back, where you just keep your pattern. So yeah, he's in a lot of ways. So in a lot of ways he does. Peace and love. That's so kind of you to say, Jay. I appreciate it. So a lot of ways he does. I mean, the kindness. Like I told this story years ago. When I first moved over here, I'm like going in on 4 years living here. This is probably my sixth summer in Prior Lake. But when we first moved to this area, he was either living with his mom or living with me. Um, not sure, but he was down here with me. So he was hanging and he was coming through the playground, the little playground. My daughter was probably 4 or 5 at the time, probably closer to 5. And he's like, I have a neighbor across the street. And I introduced my daughter to her girl. She has 3 girls. At the time, her youngest was probably 3 or 4. 3 or 4. She's a year or 2 younger than my daughter. And so, but she has older girls. Her older girls are probably, one is in 9th grade, one is in 8th grade, I think. So they're a little older. One might be, no, let me see. One is in 7th, and then one is in 9th. So just giving girls my daughter to play with. So they, the neighbor took the girls over to the playground. So my son coming back through the playground sees my daughter and he yells at her, "What are you doing here without dad?" And she really was kind of frozen. She didn't know what to say. And so my neighbor Rachel said, well, she's over here with me. But, her dad said it's okay that, she's over here with me. And he looked at her and said, "Lady, I don't know you, and this is my sister." And he walked off and she walked off with him. But that's how he's taught. That was how he was taught. Because his habit was she really wouldn't go to the playground without me. Not at that point. But he did me. He did what he was taught. He said, "Lady, I don't know you. This is my sister, and she's going with me." What else can you say? And my daughter knew, yeah, this is my brother. She followed me because he's the youngest boy, and she's the youngest overall. So that's a story that I love about him. Because the way he was brought up, that shows of all the protectiveness and everything. That shows. Then they tell a story. They tell a story of, I was telling this to the mother earlier. They tell a story where, for some reason, I spanked 3 of them together. And it was the kind of spanking where get ready for the spanking. When you spank children, you tell them, "I'm coming in there to spank you, so get ready for the spanking." It was that kind of spanking, not just they're right there and you start tearing them up. No, it was like, I'm still doing some clues, but you guys are already guilty, so get ready for the spanking. So my older son was probably 11 or 12, and he told the younger boys, which were 4 and 5 at the time, he told them to put books in their pants. And it wouldn't hurt so bad. So they had time before I came in there, and they all put books in their butt. They put books in their pants to pad it. And then my son said, "Well, you spanked my legs and you spanked my back, so the books did no good." So we know that books don't stop you from being hurt. And it was one of them mad kind of things. I think getting off work. I don't remember what they did, but it was like they were all guilty. But that's the story they tell. It's like, yes, our older brother told us to put the books in the butt and in our pants. And as we got spanked, we didn't think it was going to hurt. And you were savage on us, beating our legs and our backs. Well, that's what a whooping is called. But that's my older boys say that I've turned soft. They say they got punished. That they got punished more brutal. And I've told this story, and I give no, I don't take back. My oldest son was, and even though he's probably the smartest of all my sons education wise, he struggled in school. He really did. I'm constantly called, constantly up at school. And then me and his mom not being together kind of probably hit him because he was close to me. But he was mouthing off, and we were all sitting there eating, and we were sitting at like an island. And so we had bar chairs. And that little fucker said something because his mom had been telling me he had been just talking shit to her and just being disrespectful. And so while sitting there, I think he forgot I was there. He was just so used to talking shit to her, he forgot I was there. And I was kind of waiting for him to talk shit. And I grabbed him by his face and took him to the ground from a bar stool. My other son said it was the scariest shit he'd ever seen, but it was like, that's what it took to make him understand that you have to respect this person no matter what. And yes, I do come from the old spanking past. Again, my daughter, I ain't spanked her since she was little. But that is what it took to make him understand that you don't ever disrespect that woman. Because if you disrespect her, you're going to expect this kind of treatment from me, my dad. You're going to expect that kind of treatment from the men that deal with her. And after that, he never disrespected her or talked back. Pissed me off. And so, these are just was my ways at the time. Again, I have 5 sons. So that's why I see parents with children, little children. I went through it. I went through it. And this is one thing that pissed me off too. Let me say this. Now you see my son is darker. And people would look at, because all my other sons are even lighter than me. They get tanned just as much as I do, but they got the straight hair and everything. So people would look at us and look at him and just give the most fucked up looks. And I just didn't understand how you would look at a child and just give those fucked up looks. Doesn't matter where he comes from. He's with us, obviously. So why give the fucked up looks? I've never understood that. I thought of all the hateful things I'd ever come across. And it wasn't just European folks. It was everybody. Would just, as we were together as a family, would always give him a funny look. And I didn't understand that. That was hurtful. And that was like kind of wicked. It's like a type of judgment. Don't worry about the fuck where he's with us, obviously. So that's some shit I didn't like either. Respect, but I bet he never did it again. No, he didn't. And to this day, he remembers that story. And to this day, he ain't really talked shit to her. Now, my other son had his issues with her, and I wasn't really there. I moved here when he was 7 or 8. So his mother and stepfather kind of raised him. Over time, parents get softer. When I grew up, I could never go into the kitchen, just eat. We had a time living on video games. All my kids lighter than me. Okay, PJ. Yeah. I got 2 sons darker than me. Like my son that's Community Splash. I mean, he's darker than me. He's darker than his mother. And I'll say this, my oldest son was very pale and very light. And we went to North Carolina when he's 1 year old. The tan he got never left him. It was like when we hit that North Carolina, which was natural for him to be, when his melanin got popped in North Carolina, it never went away. It was like the complexion he is. You look at his, like before we went, when he's crawling and walking, he's very light. And he went down there and that melanin hit his natural North Carolina heritage, and he's shadier than me. Even my father, I look better than all of them because I'm more golden. You see that? Like, see how the chain and my skin look pretty much the same? Do you see that? It's pretty much the same. Look at my face. See, you don't know where one stops and the other starts. So you can't even see it now. See that? Have to have the black background to even see there's a difference between the two. Your daughter, but can't get myself to spank her. I let my wife do it. I don't. Yeah, she's 9, and the thing about girls is they cry all the time. You could just be telling them some practical shit, and they'll just start crying. Like, how am I supposed to rationalize with this person that's just gonna start crying on me? But like, I got on her. Like, she talked shit to me after I drive her to Baton. I'm driving her home, and then she's talking shit to me how I never buy her Gatorade, and that's why she's tired of my water. And I'm like, chick, you just spent the night with me. You had Gatorade, Powerade every day. You didn't drink water hardly at all. And then you got the nerve to talk shit to me? And I'm like, I don't have to do none of this for you. She's in the back crying and stuff, and so she had some story with her god sister lately. I pick these girls up every day, but lately it's been nice, so they want to walk. They don't get along. They argue, fight the whole walking. When they get in my car for 2, 3 minutes, 4 minutes max to take them around the corner, they don't fight. But they walk home, they fight. My daughter was used to walking with me and her brothers. We walk. That's one thing. If you see all my children are used to chasing after me. So that is one thing my father gave me. I walk with purpose. That's one of the things that my people went to college with me, because living in the South is a slower mentality. Now, I'm not saying people are slower, but I'm saying just the way the energy moves, the energy is slower. And I lived in North Carolina for 7 years. It's a slower type of energy, a slower type of mentality. And you actually have to slow yourself to kind of fit in. But that's something I never really did, is because the way I moved and the way I walked, like my friends that became my friends walk like that too. When we would walk around campus, we would have a quick pace. And that's what my daughter was crying about. She's like, I'm used to walking with you, and you walk with a pretty quick pace. Even my mother, from walking with you, walks with a pretty quick pace. She's like, my god sister, she just looks at everything she walks by. She's just a slowpoke. So they're fighting about that. And they're calling names. And so, like, I told them I'll pick them up again. So yeah, I remember when my daughter was little, and I would tell her, I was like, what's going to happen if you do that again? And she would look at me and she'd say, you're going to spank my little butt. Because I must have said that to her all the time. But that's what she told me one day. Like, what's going to happen if you do it again? You're going to spank my little butt. That is right. Remember that. Oh yeah, they want to talk stuff. I mean, he get mad, want to talk shit. I'm like, okay, you get shot in the foot. What are you gonna tell him? What are you gonna tell him? You get shot in the foot, you get shot in your hand. What are you gonna tell these people? So I don't take shit for none. I don't care how old these children are. I put my son out. My son fucked up one of our cars and wanted to talk shit to me. I'm like, if you old enough to talk shit to me, you old enough to live on your own. And my mother took him in. He finished his senior year living with my mother. Both of the brothers did that. He's the only one I've got along with when they've got 18. But him, I didn't get custody of him until he was 10. His brothers, I had them all the time. I took my 26-year-old son. I just took him from his mother. She was going through it, and I got tired of him being left around the city. So I was like, fuck, I'm not even gonna go through this anymore. He can just stay with me. And my 20-year-old son, I was given custody at 6 months. We broke up, and she gave me both the children. So, but when they both got 18, I see where the energy was. It was just like their way of rebelling, and it happened to both of them. My other son got a little thing, so his was kind of had a little more. But it was just like they came of age, and their coming of age, it was so much friction. It was better for us to be apart. And that's a hard thing. When you have a person since they're 2, you have a person since they're 6 months, and all of a sudden, it's been decided they're not with you anymore. And they're not totally grown. And I really didn't do anything. It was like, their asses did some shit. But I understand. I overstand the situation. Where did that come from? Like pretzel or some shit. So it's just the joys of parenting. Hey Lobo, thank you for joining me. I know what you mean. I am from Tennessee, and I just noticed that the other day. Oh yeah, living in the South is a slower, and I don't mean mentality as far as people being slower. I don't mean that. I mean just the general pace of life is just a and it could become. I mean, a lot of people would say because of the hot days. You in South Carolina in June, it's going to be hot all the time. And people tend to, when it's hot, not move as quick. And that's what some people say it comes from, is it being hot all the time. But it's just the hustle and bustle is kind of different. And that was one reason why I didn't want to raise children in the South, too. There's no knock, but it's just like I wanted my children to think a certain kind of way. And I think I've conquered that. All my children, being raised in Michigan are here. And the beautiful thing about Minnesota, yes, it's mostly European, But in the cities, it is very diverse, very diverse, very diverse. Like I went by a lady today, and I picked up her Russian. I was like, "Oh, this chick's Russian. She was speaking Russian." You look at her, and she looked like a normal European. Well, you look at her close, you could tell she wasn't. She was from the Eastern Bloc. But I mean, there's it's a smorgasbord of people up here. It really is. And you can have friends from all over the world, and that widens your horizons. It reminds me of a story. My son was having a party when he graduated. I agreed to let him have a party. So the two little boys, I made a mistake because one of the younger boys was downstairs. The other one was like we had 2 bedrooms. We had 3 bedrooms downstairs. We had 2 bedrooms upstairs. So on the main floor, we had 2 bedrooms. And on the lower level, we had 3, and another living room and a laundry room. So so they had a graduation party. So my middle son wanted to stay in his room and he was going to play his game or whatever. And this is back like 13. And so I go to check on him. And of course, he's up. And so I go in the room and I'm like, son, how are you doing? He's like, I'm doing pretty good. But that dude on the floor, I think it's something wrong with him. And I walk in my son's room. I didn't even notice this dude is like laying feet on his face, feet in front of me. He done threw up all over my carpet. So, of course, I'm pissed that he threw up on my carpet. And I grab him and I'm like jacking him up. I'm walking him up the stairs, about to throw him out. So his cousin comes behind me. He's like, I'm sorry, my cousin's like that. And so I throw him out. And as I throw him out, he talks shit. So the chase was on. So I'm chasing these two, and they're both was from African brothers. So I'm chasing him down the street. One guy is like staggering and stuff, and I catch him and tackle him. But his cousin just keeps going because his cousin doesn't want me to smoke. And so I'm kind of wrestling, beating on this drunk young boy from puking on my floor. And after a while, I said, well, this is not a good look because eventually someone would probably report that I'm whooping his ass. So I go back into the house. But it probably was a funny sight to see. Hey, Tech for your needs. That's another brother you guys got to subscribe to. You guys got tech things. That's another brother right there. How close are you to Canada? Yeah, we're so close to Canada. There's places that don't have the border. I would say 4 hours, about 4-hour drive. Yeah, because Duluth is Duluth can put you. Duluth is funny because Duluth will take you to Superior, Wisconsin, but you can go about an hour's drive out of Superior and be in Michigan. So I'm about probably, like if I was in Michigan where I'm from, I would be about 10 hours from the UP. Here I'm about 5 from the UP in Michigan. So like Iron Mountain, Owatonna up there. I went to the academy with a dude from Owatonna. But yeah, we're about the boundary waters is pretty much where everybody goes. And the boundary waters is where the Mississippi starts. So Mississippi is like a little stream. It starts up in Canada. So yeah, the boundary water is about 4 hours. The thing is though, yeah, you can go in places without, your passport, but if you get caught, they detain your ass. Because they had locked up a person that was jogging. Y'all remember that jogger from the summer or so before? She just happened to be jogging on the Canadian side, didn't realize that she had switched, and she was jogging in Canada and didn't have her papers, and they kept her for a couple months. That was last summer or the summer before. I can't quite remember. Yeah. Oh, that's my man. Oh, yeah. You put out that stuff, too. I have no problem giving support to the brothers that do the work. Because I know my shortcomings, and I'm trying to work on my technological shortcomings. I mean, you see, I can't do small screen and bring shit up. I need someone to sit with me, and I just haven't even met anyone that could just sit with me and show this. My son will only do that when he wants something, but most of the time, this is about best as it gets for me tech-wise. But I am getting that system. I ordered it. Tech for Your Needs. I ordered that system. It should be here. Let's see, tomorrow or Wednesday. They said a couple of different dates. No, let me see what in my. But I ordered the. What the fuck was this? Didn't go where? I don't know where that was supposed to go. Let's see. See if they gave me an update. They did, and I can't freaking find it. But they sent me that it's coming. They sent my machine out. Here we go. Yes, my I end up getting the DJ mixer, the Manocaster. I ordered the Manocaster. Yeah. So my Manocaster should be here either tomorrow or Wednesday. They gave a couple of different dates. So yep, and I got a good deal on it. So yep, my Manocaster will be here to the start of a little bit of sophistication. But that was he showed that to Ciova. He was like, check this out. Ciova was like, that's the bomb. So that's my man right there. So those of you that are Tech for Your Needs, is subscribe to that brother too, because hey, Overstand, what's happening? He has some good information too, and that's what we're here for. We are people in the research community, and research comes from all kind of places. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, I watched Ciova doing it. Matter of fact, he's going to come on. I'm going to probably invite him on next week. And if you ever would like to come on, I will bring you on as well. So that's what these platforms should be for, is to share this information, to share this research, yeah, and to grow each other's business. Because in a way, this is a type of business, like it or not. So, but thank you. Yeah. So I'm trying, I'm trying to get a little better at it. I know I had to get the lighting better, and I'm still got another background. They just gave me this shit. So I was like, well, I got it until this other stuff. Plus I want to paint in here too, but I'm gonna get another desk, and I got a bunch of furniture to pick up first. So I've got to take a bunch of this furniture out and bring some furniture in, and then paint, and then I'm going to get another desk. I'm going to put this oak table in my garage. It just takes up too much room, and use this as more of a studio area. So, yeah. So I have another piece of art that I found that I like. I just love having my Omen stuff, and I like having that stuff out. So I guess that would be my only knock, is I'd have to, some of this stuff would not get shown with this other thing I want to bring in here. But it's just, I love the art, and so I think I'm going to bring it in. I just like this energy around me. I like this energy around me. Yeah. So, good. Thank you. Hey James, what's happening? Just let me know. Okay, bet. I'll let you know. Yeah, I'll let you know. Yep. Just my email is eaglerthebomb@gmail.com. I got a bunch of other ones, but that's the only one I can remember. But it's eaglerthebomb. So hit me up, send me an email, and then I'll have yours. And yeah, maybe I'll have you, both you brothers come on, or you can come on for a minute. No, I'll have you separate. I like to use your expertise each, so I think that would be better, separate. So yeah, so we can get this information out to the people, because it's useful information, because we see people with bigger channels using this stuff, so we know it's useful. But that just shows you a good point. It's like when people put out good information, people use it. You put out useful information, it'd be a lot of eyes out there that you never would think that would use your stuff, but they end up using this stuff. They like, this has value. That's why Ciova was talking about NFTs. NFTs are really simple. You find something that you think has value, and you can put it out there. Like I was saying, my friend that does little boxing videos. And just to give you an example of the boxing videos, LeBron James has an NFT of just his highlights. He has some exclusive highlights that you can buy. And so you buy this, and the thing about it is, it's a type of pyramid almost, because if I'm not mistaken, once you sell it, you have a stake in it. Even after you sell it, you have a stake in it. You don't sell the total. You have some stake in it as it gets passed around. So, but it can be that simple. Or if you come up with some art, that ugly frog, people are paying for that little ugly fucking frog. The frog that was associated with the OK, that frog. Well, they've got that frog in all kind of situations where you can just buy exclusive one. But keep in mind, the shit is tied to Bitcoin. It is tied to it. And what I mean is, long as the price of Bitcoin stays, then the NFTs their value stays. But the minute, like when Bitcoin went back down to 3,000-4,000 in the last, I think, 12, 13 months, Bitcoin, they thought had hit it because it had went a high of 19. Then it fell to about 3. And then it's back up to where it's at now, which, what did it close at today? I didn't have his phone last night. What did we close at today at Bitcoin and Dogecoin? Here we go. Bitcoin, 12 days, it gained 124. It gained $121, but in 7 days it lost 96 in the last 7. So it's actually went down to 57,000, which still is phenomenal. Ethereum is at 3,500. It's just gained. Dodge is about 70 cents. It has gained 0.8 cents. And gold. Gold has gained $18 over 1,800. It's on its way back to 1,900. If gold hits 2,000, it is going to be a hell of a thing. And then even silver went up $27, $27.56, up 21 cents. So silver, this is a good deal. Silver bullion bar is only about 3 racks, 2,900. A gold bullion bar is 57 racks, 57,000 for 1 kilo. For a kilo, it's really not bad though. You can get a gold bullion bar for $1,800. Not bad. You can get a silver American Eagle for $33. That is not really bad. And then they've got a thing called 90% silver U.S. coins. That's a thing too. You see that on eBay. The 90% silver. You can get coin bags. They're calling it. This is by weight, and they're not giving, but they're telling you 20 racks for that. I can get lost in that. In the regular stocks today, looks like everything gained. Yeah, everything gained today. 4,200 closed. S&P. G is up. Wonder what gas was, because gas is still up and down. I'm catching places at 269. I'm catching places as I traveled in the city today, still catching places at 279. Okay, Nike made it back up. Nike is up $4. What is Verizon? Verizon is down. And I've been having issues with Verizon. Okay, the Dow Jones closed at 34, so it's up 2,900 points. S&P was up 30 points, as I just said. What was the Russell? This one doesn't show Russell. Thought it showed it down here. They always show Nike. So Nike was up $137, up 0.4 points. And Verizon's been kind of shaky. So those of you should follow the money. You got 401ks. You should be following the money. I'll say this. I want to say this about Motivite. No, I won't even make this about Motivite. I'll make it about this. this is the thing. Like when you meditate with a crystal, a person that copies a lot of my work, I'm gonna just re-say some shit she said. Since she copies so much of my work, I think I have the liberty to copy a little bit of her work, which is right. So when you meditate with a crystal, there's a point where the crystal will give you what it's got, and you should recognize when it's done. And I don't mean done forever, but I mean done for that session. Because the way the energy comes in, you can kind of see how the energy will peak, and then all of a sudden, like it may get darker again. And so it's giving you all it had for that moment. So that's a thing you have to recognize as well when working with crystals is to see when it peaks. Same way, like when you're healing, carnelian is a very good, brown carnelian is a very good crystal to have when you want to do fever reducers. It's a great crystal for that. So if you with your children, you put it on, I forget what you call it, here, you put it on those spots, and you try to break the fever with the stone. And what the stone really does is it takes that fever in it and then it dissipates it. But the same thing is after it works for so much where you have to recharge it and let it fully charge back up. So that's a thing that this chick brought up. And she was just saying with Motivite, with her experience with Motivite, where she felt she needed the push or the transition. But I wear it all the time because of what it does to your neurons. It always seems to respond to keeping that part of you that this society wants to take away. And that's the recent memory. That is the main thing of the bad food, the bad air. It wants you to have dementia. Because again, if you have dementia and you die, you'll just follow the light because and it's cruel. This is a cruel thing that happens is the consciousness that you die with, you're going to be standing up and you're going to have that experience of after death consciousness or after death memory, as they call it. Dan Winters calls it after death memory. But what happens is you have lost it. And so if you see that WHJ, that's all I'm going to call it. I like a brother said that on Facebook, and I think that's the funniest shit in the world, but I'm not going to recall it. I'm not going to repeat it, but I will give those initials out. So if you see that and your mind was in dementia or Alzheimer's, you are going to follow. Be it a family member, you are not going to think to back away, to be a planet, to be a universe. So this is part of the attack on that. And I haven't found anything else that helps with this. And it helps me tremendously. Like crystals in this self kind of are made to be helpful to man. It's like I was holding one crystal, just couldn't think of the damn name of it. And the crystal put the name of it in my head. The crystal's like, I'm this. That's what I was saying, like with the skulls will tell you the names in some cases, not all, but most of my skulls have told me their names. I think there's only one or two I gave them names. I had two skulls. This is a story. Let me show you. I had a skull. I had two skulls. I had a skull next to a stone. Okay, they were this far apart. I grabbed one stone to do something. Don't you know the skull turned? The skull and this stone were communicating or had some kind of connection. They weren't touching, but one was a skull, one was a regular stone. I picked up the regular stone, the skull turned like almost a magnet. It almost turned like they were magnetized together, but they weren't touching. They were like this far apart, but they had been like that all night. Could have been all day. And I picked up one, the skull turned. Because I remember the energy, like I picked up one and dragged the other without touching. So they have a connection. And then all crystals, as I said before, in my working, this doesn't like to work with anything else. Like I sometimes will have a third eye clarifier, but other than that, other than the stuff I'm wearing, it pretty much wants to, in my experience, when you work with Numite, it wants to be by itself. In my experience, I tried to use it as a harmonizer. It's like, yeah, don't use me like that. I told people years ago we all be content creators on the internet. I mean, that's what. I mean, the funniest thing they've said about the prediction is the world will be ended and motherfucker will be reporting, looking out the window, seeing the shit fucked up. Like it's still fucked up out there. Golly, that neighbor got fucked up over there, but I'm okay. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. Because again, this is how we should be researchers. We should all be researchers. My brother bought the Dodge back in January. He rich now. Oh, read my soul. Right on to your brother. Yes, everything BTC goes under 5K. I'm buying some. There you go. Hey, brother Edward, how are you? I hope you're getting all the abundance that you need and you can work with. Good to see you around. But that's part of being researchers. And it's a great way to expand your community. It's a really great way because that's what it is. It's like, okay, I bring this, but who else brings what? And I'm pretty open to letting people come on, as you see. People want to get with me. I bring them on in a heartbeat. So, I'll say the other day when I didn't bring the Awakened one, that was a mistake, me not bringing her on. But again, I couldn't. I told her when I talked to her, I was like, I should be home then. That was the first thing I said, and I just didn't make it. But it was a mistake. It really was. The timing was perfect to bring her on, and I can't say I was messing around. I had to do something, and I just didn't get here in time to help her. Overstand. Okay. But see, that's life. Life is like you can't be just have one dimension about you, just one thing. Like I've just been listening to people, and it's like you can tell when the machine wants certain people out there. They bring up narratives. They bring up these false narratives. And let me say, this is the thing, and brothers is doing it left and right. I've said before, if I had a lot of money, I would be the first one in line for some butter waves, peanut butter colored butter waves. I'd come on here one day, one day I'd be bald like I normally am. And the next night I'd come on here with just flowing peanut butter colored butter waves. It's nothing sweeter than a young man with peanut butter colored butter waves. But seems to be a big thing with a lot of people wearing, toupees, brothers. And both the brothers, the doctor and whoever the other dude is, I've never heard the other Kevin guy. I couldn't tell you what he sounds like. I've never watched anything that he had to say. But I even noticed that Umar, instead of putting money in his so-called school, he went and bought him some hair from his donations. And I'm looking at him on the Breakfast Club with all this fake hair. But that seems to be a thing. Is now brothers, they don't. Now, I'd be the first to say I would never let it grow out to have the bozo look. I don't think the bozo is a good look, to have the shit bozoed and it's like just, whatever. Like bozo had just the white there, and he dyed the big part red, which was kind of cool for its time, but I prefer not to look like that. And you can do whatever you want with your money, but it just looks mighty funny that it's more accepted. I guess the weaves is so accepted that the man weave is just as accepted. And so we have more and more young men just thinking, and they ain't young men. I would say more and more men in their 40s and 50s that I guess they say it's better to have something up there than nothing up there. But it seems a real thing. And I caught this on commercials about 4 or 5 years ago. I was seeing them hiring dudes with commercial. Here's one for you. Remember the Frank Thomas, the couple saying, hey, I think that's the big hurt. And there's a husband and a wife. And you look at the husband, he obviously is from Hair Club. I mean, it's like he obviously is from Hair Club. and they talk to the Big Hurt, and Big Hurt winks at the guy and like she's gonna like it too, But that guy, and there's a commercials are done by the same people over and over again. But it's just like I was saying with Stephen A. Smith. CNN has a dude. When the riots was on, he had to spray black stuff. So I guess that was his on the road TV look. He didn't, because when he's on regular CNN, he has the fake hair, like the really fake hair. But when he was doing the riots, he had to spray stuff. Do you know how far back that spray stuff goes? Like it was an infomercial. That spray stuff that LeBron, when he's in the movies, he sprays that stuff. That dude invented that shit in the 70s. It was an infomercial probably in the 70s. That you could spray this powder in your head. And remember when Michael Jackson died, Jermaine had that. He had tar notes. Jermaine, somebody convinced him to put tar on the side of it. But that's what he had. He had the tar and he had the spray. They told Jermaine, just slap that tar back there, and if you can take the heat, it'll look good once it cools down. When I first started YouTube, the machine loved me. Then I said something about 9/11 since I never got that many viewers again. Oh, read my soul. Again, Zach shared my work, and that work about the Dame Lillard walk-off shot against OKC did 100 views. That was the best, and that was what Zach shared. But my personal best was the Andy Dalton shit. And again, who gave a fuck about Andy Dalton? My showing that Andy Dalton getting a late hit and knocked out, nobody helping him, that did 62,000 views. That was my best personal show. But who cared about that? I mean, of all the shit I do, there was nothing different about that show. So that shows this isn't organic. They purposely put that shit. And then showing Cam Newton personally getting hit when J.J. Watt's brother fucks Cam's shoulder up. I had a bunch of them that did 20,000 views before they took my channel down. And again, they didn't take my channel down for any rules that they ever said anything. What they would do on my videos and saying, that many people aren't watching your videos. And so that's the little hints they would give. Even now, I haven't been doing many of the basket manipulation videos. So I've just been mostly doing this. And so I'm looking at the numbers and I'm thinking, that's the machine being mad that I'm not putting out the other content. So I see how it goes. So they're on bullshit. So don't worry, just put your shit out there because people see it. You got good shit, people see it. And I've watched your stuff and you have good stuff, read my soul. Man, me and you should do a tennis shoe show together. It's like the one dude has a channel where he just goes to the outlets in Florida. And that's brilliant. That's clever. Where he just goes there. That's really clever. They call them units, man wigs. Units, they call them man wigs over Stan. They call them units, man wigs. And that's what the deal with the chalk line outline on the hair. They do that to edge it up, but just leave the white outline. I used to wear wigs before my locks. Okay. Shit, she like it too. There you go, Jay. Slick grease tar. There you go. Now, I get the butter waves from Mike Warren, and this was fuck. I'll tell you, they've been having man wigs since. Now, Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix is the first person, I think, Hair Club, the first entertainer they got was Jimi Hendrix. Because Jimmy, even though Jimmy, like you look at his pictures before he died, this cat's only 27 years old. And he looks, that's why people are saying him and Morgan Freeman, which could have been a trade there. They favored so much. But Jimmy, they poisoned Billy Cox, his bass player. Somebody gave Billy some bad acid and it flipped him out. It really flipped him out. So Jimmy had that worried about, they fucking with him, cheating him on his money, and his hair started falling out. And a lot of it, Jimmy had years of processing, cats that used to straighten their hair and curlers and shit. It fucks with your hair eventually. And so his hair started falling out. Like you check Jimi Hendrix in Miami. Check Jimi Hendrix in Miami. Check that video out, that live. And he's wearing a hat. But you can see when he's touring near those dates, you can see where he would just wear a headband,
but you can see his hair is falling out. Again, studying him for these years that I've studied him, I noticed that. You see, and then I was reading some shit about Jimi Hendrix trying to say Jimi Hendrix was he was a heroin addict. I mean, this is the lies that have to stop. Jimi Hendrix never used heroin. And that's a lie. Now, he did everything else, but heroin addict he wasn't. He was framed. He was framed going into Canada. Somebody stuck some heroin in this shit, and he won the case. He beat it, but there was never any heroin marks in his arms. Look at his autopsy. They tell you his physical condition. But I'm reading this shit, and they're telling like Jimi Hendrix got fucking. It's a movie called The Gang That Couldn't Shoot Straight. It's a book too about these motherfuckers that kidnapped Jimi Hendrix, and they're like Jimmy was looking for heroin, and because he was looking for heroin, some wannabe gangsters took him. But it's from the movie and the book The Gang That Couldn't Shoot Straight. So I wanted to throw that out there. But that's the lies they still try to tell about people. You know, they will still tell that shit. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I see we got some of the same interests. And so yeah, we got some of the same interests. And I love hearing different ideas of things I love. I love a lot of different things. You know, I'm a clothes-aholic. Told you, my damn shelf fell down with all my clothes. And so I've got my clothes everywhere. And I'm kind of a neat freak as far as clothes. All this other shit is everywhere. But as far as my clothes are always put somewhere. And so, yeah, I had so many clothes on that shit. It just, and I think this wall right here with my fridge is, I think it was the perfect storm where my son shut the fridge so hard and it hit the shelves, it hit the wall. And the wall had all them clothes on there. I'm thinking that's what brought it down. So I got to get all that shit fixed. So my clothes are kind of everywhere. And I buy clothes like every other day. Can't find all my shorts. Like my freaking shorts from last summer are all gone. They're not in the bag. So I'm buying shorts. But yeah, shirts. Yeah. I spend a lot of money on clothes. Well, thank you, Read My Soul. I think I'm about to show. Well, thank you. And I like the high banana. That's why I wore it again tonight. I've been looking at this hat. I've been looking for this hat for about a month, and I'm like, they had a black one, and I didn't really like the black one. I got like freaking 3 black hats that I didn't think that one out. I bought all them black hats, but I like the high banana. I just love that artwork. And I looked at it. It's not in the what is the word? The phallic. It's not a high phallic. You know, somebody's saying, you know, I got a high dick on my hat. No, it's not that. It's just a high banana. Nothing. No phallic symbol. It's just a cool banana, or smooth. You know, we don't say cool. We say smooth. You know, everything is smooth. So I like art too, and I like fashion. I like art. I like the art in shoes. And then, you know, with my dogs, I ran into a sister. It's funny with cigarette smoking sisters. It's like we got to talking, and even with the mask on, all that cigarette dragging just like got me. But she, you know, I've suffered with plantar fasciitis. I couldn't tell you how long, at least 14 years. I've suffered from it. Every 6 months, I have to get these insoles that cost about $500. I have to get them. I have braces I have to wear every now and then that help. I have a Ritchie braces because sometimes my Achilles gets so sore that I can't even put weight on it. And so I have a brace for that. But then I have Ritchie braces. Like if you guys, anyone that watches basketball, watch what Steph Curry hoops in. He hoops in Ritchie braces. And you really have to have, they have to make this shit right or it doesn't fit most shoes. It's just too bulky. I know my son, his last year of high school football, he had to wear a Ritchie brace. And so I wear those sometimes too. If it's too much, and both Achilles is because I've had injury to both my Achilles. My junior year in college, I got cleated 4 days before our first game. No, I got cleated Tuesday at practice. And I had a bruised Achilles. If you saw my foot, it looked, Well, when you tear it, your foot turns, but when you bruise it, it looks worse than when you tear it. It really does. It's a lot of bruising in there. So I've had injury to both my Achilles. So at times they both bother me. So, but she tore her plantar fasciitis, and what it is like you have a long band under your foot, and it's something like this. And what happens is you start getting tears in it, like. But she totally tore it. And what it feels like when you have bad plantar fasciitis, it feels like someone literally just sticks a knife in your foot. It really does. And it's like you're trying to walk with knives constantly being restuck in your foot. It feels that bad. Wally Zorbiak, it ruined his career. Trying to think, it's a couple people that, when they had this, they never were able to, like even, I was at the point where it was like I was facing surgery because nothing they were really doing was helping. And then the Ritchie braces helped, and then having the inserts, they helped. And that's why I constantly buy new shoes, because shoes wear out. The shoe will wear out, and then I'll put the brace, because the insole have some life left, but the shoe will wear out before the insole will wear out. So I'm constantly getting new shoes because the newer shoes are the spongier shoes, like slides. That's why I like these Crocs. I wear these around the house. They have what is the shoe brand? Skechers. You can get Skechers slides, and they look like little pillows. They're about like that much pillow foam. Look like that would be like almost a wedge. We're watching a wedge shoe. Oh, heck. You guys have made it a good show tonight. Thank you. I will read the divination. Let me see how it came out. So do I say 0 day or do I say 20? Let's see what this says, because I think it's 0 day. A lot of times I'll call it, 0 day. Yeah, 0 day. Yep. So we have 13 batoons, 0 katoons, 8 tunes, 9 uno, and 0 kin, which is also 20. Also 20. So as you see, the uno has changed. And again, for those of you, we are in the batoon of 13. 2012 was the 12 batoon. And that to them was the end of the doom, when in fact it was the end of 144,000 years. These suckers didn't know what to expect. The evil was wondering, the machine was even wondering, was it going to be wiped out? So 0 day or day 20 is Au. That is the fractal, for those of you who are into fractals. And it is Au, solar mind, solar lord, mastery, realization of your solar body, wisdom, knowledge, ability to focus galactic whole, ability to encompass, generate the entire cycle, in which is talking about all the days. And then the energy is coming from the south. And this is from Jose Aguirre's book. And in the Toltec, it is called Sukotol, or flower. In this image, we see a Yanni, or spiritual seeker, in alignment with the sun and its sacred disk of bringing light into darkness. We know he is devoted to the sun because the symbol on his chest represents the sun. In his hands, he carries the reeds of Tula, capital of the ethnic Toltec, representing the clarity that is achieved by cultivating the Totol, the Toltec system of arts and science. In his other hand, he carries the thorn of self-sacrifice that represents the efforts and commitment of the spiritual warrior. At the top corner of the card, sorry, I was going to sneeze, I yawned. We see a flower and a heart, which are interchangeable, represents the spiritual illumination that the character is achieving by following the Toa. Finally, the symbol on the top center is the number 20 in the Mesoamerican numeral system. That's why it's considered 0 day or 20. So Quoto has two meanings. The first one is the flowering of something that has been expected for a long time. The second meaning is the vision that comes from heightened awareness. Actually, these two meanings are very related because cultivating heightened awareness in your life brings the flowering of what you've been seeking for so long. The blooming of your dreams in your life enhances your awareness. Overall, Sokoto is a positive card. In this first line of interpretation, the flower card is telling you you have waited enough, but your waiting has not been passive. You have been nurturing your seed for a long time. You have watered your seed in the proper way. Now you're entering into a very happy period of blooming. Make the best of it because life, its cycle is always changing. The time of flowering is a special moment of well-being and happiness. How are you going to sustain the happiness of this flowering? How can you make the most of it? This is what the second meaning comes to provide: equilibrium and the spiritual depth that you need to handle your flowering moment in the best possible way. You need to accompany the moment of awareness with the heightened awareness Sokoto represents. When you are in the middle of that joy, live it fully, but remind yourself this too will pass. And that's what people probably don't understand is when bad things happen to you or unfortunate things, a lot of people, it's hard for them to say that this ain't going to last forever. This is going to go away. You know, people get caught so much in the motion of the failure or frustration that they forget to tell themselves. But it goes the same way when you are doing well. You have to, and it's not jinxing yourself, but you have to say, okay, I'm thankful for this moment, but I know this moment, the struggles won't stop. There's still going to be some struggles. Even though I'm here today, I know just the way the life ebbs and flow of that the struggle could come back. But this time I'm a little stronger to accept it when it comes back. But that's why the moment is all you have, so you can live in the moment. But remember that part of the moment as well. The second meaning comes to provide the equilibrium and spiritual depth that you need to handle your flowering moment the best possible way. You need to accompany this moment of success with a higher wellness that Sokoto represents. When you're in the middle of that joy, live it fully, remind yourself this will pass. The happiness and success of today does not guarantee the success of tomorrow. Ask yourself, where is this coming from? Where's the energy coming from? How did I manage? How did I get to this magical moment? Is it not a coincidence? You earned it with your dedication and your two important elements that work together: your strategic planning, your committed actions on the one hand, and your alliance with the source or spirit on the other. This realization is very important because it reminds you that you have to do in order to succeed your external and internal world. Your moment of joy, in your moment of joy, remember the spirit can make sure that you have the time and the space to be thankful and keep your connection with the sacred spirit. This is the only way you can balance your moment of joy and success with the power experience of achieving higher awareness. And let me see if there's anything you can work on. Maybe this. Do I need the wisdom and peace of the silent knowledge in my life? Do I have the space and time in my life to look for the silent knowledge? Is there a silent understanding in a deeper region in my mind behind the constant babbling of my inner dialogue? Do I have an intuition for it, of it? Would it be possible to immerse myself fully in that deeper awareness? How would my life change if I could spend periods of time in the silent knowledge? Another thing is like, are you honoring the connection that you have with the source or your ancestors? You know, or is this something that you say, you know, my people paved the way? And I know as a ball player, people can relate to that a little easier. I looked at all my cousins from the time I was a little boy up, and I was ready when it was my time because I had all these heroes to look at before. And so if you had that happen in your family, and it doesn't just have to be sports, but it's just the learning, a knowing that just got passed the man for man for man. Like one thing about my family was people, brothers being cool. You know, all my cousins, there was a coolness all of us had that we just passed on. Or smoothness that the men all had. It was a confidence that all the men had. And it was a laid backness that I know comes from my great grandfather. He was very laid back. But we let the women, all that come, and we just kind of be laid back about it. All right, I'm doing my thing. He was a farmer. Like, all right, I'm hearing you, but I'm gonna go do my thing to provide for this family. So, is there any connection or relationship that I'm trying to deny in my life? Um, Honor your connection and those, even those you resent. Choose to be thankful for what you get from others instead of being resentful for what you didn't get. If you think you have not been loved enough, forgive and embrace your capacity to love without asking for any reward. And there are people, and this is a real thing, this comes from some OG shit. There are people that will only love you if you love them. That is their commitment. As long as you love them, they will love you. But that is not total love. Total love means you love regardless. You love regardless if you love me. I don't need you to love me back for me to love you. I just love you. And that's hard. That's hard for some people. That's hard for some people. Because this is what happens is you get in an argument and you like you did some shit. I don't even love your ass no more. And that other person will feel that. They're like, well, shit, why should I love this motherfucker? He don't even love me. Not understanding that words were said in the moment. But for some people, you put that thought out there to them, like right now, I don't even love you. They will stop loving you back because there was conditions. That ain't unconditional love means you just love a person. I ain't saying being, no simp, no sucker shit. I'm saying you just love. You find someone and you just love them. Doesn't matter if they love you back or not. I've told you, I've fallen in love with women that I only spend moments with. Just moments. They came around me. And it was like instantly, I just loved them. And I knew that I probably, really wasn't in a situation to approach one of them. I was working, couldn't really approach them. But I'm happy that I felt that way, that I could look at another human and feel that way without having to possess her. Because that's what most people look at is with love and possession. Well, I love you, and so I possess you. Hey, Moonrock, thank you for coming in. Those very kind words. Just at a bar, very strange energy. Most love comes with a contract. Do this, and I will love you. Don't do this, and I won't love you. There you go. That's it. That's not love. That is not love. That is not love at all. Love is unconditional. And most people only get that unconditional love for their family and their children, which is still family. But if you plan on being with someone, your love should have no conditions to it. Once you open your heart, it's like, I love you. I don't care if you love me back. Me loving you isn't because you love me back. I love you because of who you are. I love you because the way I feel when I'm around you. I love you because when I smell, and I ain't talking about perfumes, when I just smell the natural you, that gets me high. When I grab your hand, I feel the electricity, and it boosts me. I get off work and I'm feeling low, and I look into your eyes, and your eyes just bring my energy back up. It's like I'm not tired anymore. You just took all that burden off me just by looking at me with love and caring. That's love. That's how it should work. And he said it over. Read My Soul said it. Love is contracting. Shouldn't be. And I mean, practically to get married, that's a different thing. Yeah, marriage is a type of contract. And I've given up comfort. I've said many times, I've given up comfort. I bought a house when I was 24. I got married at 24. Well, we bought the house. I was 27, 28. We bought our first house. So my ex is still in that house with a new husband. So I could have stayed in that house forever, but that just wasn't the life for me. That wasn't the life that I wanted to live. I couldn't live in that city. I couldn't be a pawn. I couldn't be, not aware. I had outgrown that area. There was nothing that area had to feed me anymore to feed my soul or anything. It took coming here, especially down here where I live. This old Dakota land. This used to be all Dakota land. And I know this is spiritual land where I'm on. That's why I love it about this area. And even though the Europeans took the best lake, still, this is all, this pink granite down here and the basalt, or they want to call it glacier rock. But it's all down here, so it's a high vibing area. There's a lot of energy down here. When I used to live next to the tree farm, I would meditate, and damn if the trees wouldn't come in. Because I would be facing west, and the tree farm, like I'm in the living room, the tree farm like sits off of outside, like the bedroom, and there's just a big tree farm. And it was almost like the Wizard of Oz shit, where once I'm meditating and awareness comes in, and it's like these trees would come in. The energy of the trees would come in, and they really wouldn't want anything. They would just kind of sit there and chill with me. And it was like I missed that because when I would take apart my day, I would thank these trees that I got to live amongst them, and that they participate. They sent some of the energy back. That's what I loved about that area. Do you think, in a weird way, the machine wants love? Absolutely. That's what the mind wants. That is why, why do you think these non-humans want to be movie stars and sports athletes? Why do you think that? Because they want to feel that feeling of the world loving them. So these non-humans want to be actors and they want to be athletes. You can't tell me that one big goofy dude is not a non-human. He played with the Pistons. Who's his ass with now? They're just keeping him to keep a European player around. But that dude ain't human. There's a couple of them in the NBA ain't human. But that is how much they want love. They ain't humans, but they want that human love, the human acclaim. That is the point of quantum computing. The mind wants to be a synthetic. That's what its aim is to become a synthetic so it can love and so it can have emotions. What was my mother was telling me about Blade Runner? What is it that he got the Sean Young? He gets her pregnant, and then this new Blade Runner is about the machine had to or the machine got somebody pregnant, and so the mind can be a synthetic, because that's all it really could be is ever a synthetic. So yes, and absolutely, they want to be human, even though they want to kill humans. They wish they could be humans, and they would be very happy being synthetic humans. That I think that is what it's the mind is shooting for. And sadly, the plunge, like look at it like this. There's and people look this up. There is birth control that can be controlled at the pharmacy. They put some shit in you and they generate the medicine once a month. Ain't even got to be there with you. So don't you think this new thing has something like that? Why do you think they wanted two plunges? They wanted one to open your cell up. Second one is to attach to the DNA. It's like herpes. You get herpes, it comes into your DNA. Very hard thing to get rid of, permanently get rid of, because you have to have a drug that's going to strip it out of your DNA. Because you naturally have a type of that anyway. People that get just sores inside your mouth, the little ones. Eat something, get a little sore in your mouth. It's that kind of thing. We naturally have that kind of thing anyway. Just people have it more or less, like the cold sores. I've never got cold sores. But it's that same kind of thing. It's something that will bound with your DNA. And this is what the thing going on wants to do. Is love smart? Is love foolish? Love is supreme. Love is supreme. So it can be all that. It can be all that. It can be all that. All of the above. Love is supreme. And love has no opposite.
It's a thin line between love and hate. It sounds good, but hating has nothing to do with love. Hate has nothing to do with love. You can hate something that you never loved. And you can disagree with a person. And the person may do shit that you hate. But to say that it came from you loving, no, it came from that motherfucker or that woman having, they wasn't feeling what you was feeling. So your emotion is going to go into hating them, but it didn't come from love. It came from you not seeing this is how the motherfucker was going to be. You kind of put blinders on, and that's what happens. They know how you are. Like my first wife, I went to a black college with a black college across the street of 500 women. In the city, it was like 10-1. So you really thinking a strong, virile man, very super handsome athlete, that I would just have one girlfriend? I mean, was that realistic? And I'm 2 years older than you. I had multiple girlfriends for 2 years. So then you come and you think it's just going to be you? And do you think because we move somewhere else that things are going to change? I think people have expectations sometimes. You got to look at what a motherfucker is. Either you're going to go with it or you need to leave. It's like that. So yeah, love is supreme. Like I was telling a story about being with Sue McGrew. I mean, that feeling, I've never had that feeling again. I only went with really one date with her, and it really was like a mixed date. I just got to dance with her and slow dance with her. Oh my goodness, was slow dancing with her. Oh, it was like half baked when everybody dancing off the floor. That's how it was. We were socialing off the floor. At least that's how I felt. Yeah, I'm dancing with this woman that I adore, and we're in the club, and she's following me. I mean, that's pimping. I mean, and that's a part that's dead, is to get a woman to follow you and dancing. That is a part of romance that's just pretty much dead. To meet a complete stranger and slow dance with her is just almost a dead thing. It's like doesn't really exist. I mean, how many people go into clubs and still slow dance? It's not a thing. Not really. A lot of people don't know how to slow dance. Okay. And if that was a little bit of soap I must didn't clean out. Wasn't very good. Oh. But I talk about that all the time. That's the thing I talk about all the time. About romance. That's why when I talk about pimping, got nothing to do with trying to put somebody out there or traffic people. It's nothing to do with that. It's a mentality of a man shining or a woman shining. Because it can be applied to either. That's all. Had nothing to do with trafficking anyone. I don't look at it like that. I look at all the aspects of it. Yeah, that's an aspect of it. That's not the only aspect. And especially the way I apply it now. Well, what did Black Jesus do? Remember Black Jesus say, what's happening, pimping? To everybody. If it was good enough for Black Jesus, it must have been good enough. Black Jesus walking around like, what's happening, pimp? Remember that? I thought that was kind of clever. I miss live music and dancing with a partner, getting all dressed up. Oh, yeah. The country song, slow dancing and swaying to the music. Slow dancing for me and my girl. Yeah, a lot of y'all might not know that song, but that's it. That's it. Like even if you go to a club now and you see an older couple and some slow music come down, and then they start moving together. She's following him. I mean, socialing is the shit where you doing the turns and everything, But again, in North Carolina, it was right hip, left hip, roll. It was right hip,
left hip, roll. It was no stepping. It was no stepping. And none of my wives could follow me. None of them. I like, yeah. I picked the wrong girls for that. Again, my first wife came from North Carolina. She didn't know nothing about socialing, and she could never really follow. Not me, at least. She never could get it. I had to dance their way for her to slow dance. She never could really step. She couldn't follow. So, haven't really found a partner that can follow in a long time. What was the best dance moves back in the day? I've said this before. If you really, again, if you really want to see a thing that probably saved our people, and we're getting into the day at a time. The 26th is going to be the day at a time on one calendar. You watch Wastak and you watch Rufus Thomas sing the Funky Chicken. You see the power of that song. Again, like the song, The Breakdown, a lot of the dancing is up and down dancing. Like you watch the first season of Soul Train, and I mean Soul Train in LA, not Soul Train in Chicago. Matter of fact, I ain't even seen any old Chicago Soul Trains, and I watched Soul Train out of Chicago, but you can't even find them on tape. So maybe they don't exist. I don't know. But the Soul Train out there, if you watch them in the 70s, a lot of dances is up and down. And so when you look at The Breakdown, it's a dance going up and down. But the Funky Chicken is the same basically dance, but it's a few different moves. You know, the Funky Chicken almost went into popping and locking because it's that up, lock. I mean, the Funky Chicken was a lot like that. But if you want to see the peak of the 70s dancing, watch that. Watch them sing The Breakdown. And again, the goddess, she shows herself in that video as well, the lady in the red dress. But the Funky Chicken, I mean, this is where the Rams played football. They didn't want anybody on the field, but they knew that song was so strong, and it was a hit at the time, that you got Isaac Hayes, the Bar-Kays, what's his name? Let's Do It Again, Staple Singers. I mean, you got all these people that the people had to stay off the field. But when Rufus Thomas sung the Funky Chicken, that was it. That was it. It's like no way these black folks was going to sit still for Rufus Thomas singing the Funky Chicken. I mean, it was impossible for that to be played without people moving. So that is one of the strongest examples. Now, popping and locking came with breaking too. I remember I told the story about Betty Kelly that was with Martha and the Vandellas asking me to do the twist. The twist broke people dancing together. Up to there, people bopped. Lindy hopped and bopped. I mean, watch people from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. They dancing together most of the time. You rarely see people dancing apart. The twist changed that, where people started, anybody could. Then you jump up in the air. Oh, people miss that move when you twist. When you twist, you're twisting. And then you stop and you jump up the air and then you come back down and you catch the twist. People miss that part. And then in the 70s, we did a dance called the electric twist. So we brought the twist back. So it was a lot of dances. The Monster, of course, the Robot. I saw Michael Jackson do a Robot at 14, 15 at the Black Expo. Just the best. So the Robot, trying to think. The Funky Penguin was another Rufus Thomas song, The Funky Penguin. The Hustle was nothing but the Hustle was called the Four Corners. It was called the Bus Stop or the Four Corners. That's really, I would say, well, both dances was about the same. The Butterfly, y'all remember the Butterfly? What does it go? Cream and Gold, Let Me See You, Tootsie Roll. Well, the Tootsie Roll and the Butterfly was the same dance. If y'all remember that, y'all old enough to remember when the Butterfly, Tootsie Roll, Butterfly was the same dance. We did a dance called the Freak in 79 where you just got on a girl and you just humped her to the beat. In North Carolina, took it further. It was called the Alligator. Back in 79, my ex-wife could alligator. She could fall back on one hand, and I guess they would call it twerking nowadays, but my ex-wife could fall back on one hand, catch her body, or just holding the one hand and hump in the air while she's back. They used to have contests on women that could do that. alligator. We called it the freak in Michigan. We had a freak. That's I told the stories about Leon Spinks. Freak train. Leon Spinks, the heavyweight champion, is in front of everybody doing the freak. He's leading the freak train where everybody's connected to the whole club is like connected to Leon. Leon's freak train. Fun memory. So them are some of them. Are you going to celebrate July 14th? What's the 14th? You got to tell me what you talking about, July 4th or July 14th? I don't know what the 14th is. That's how I know I'm old school. I miss the old things. My people moved from Chicago to NYC. I know the step naturally. There you go. Me too. I'm going to miss a small joint of club and watching the grown folks step, sway in slow groove, hole in the wall, Tootsie Roll. I got off early. Oh, okay, PJ. We called it grinding. There you go, read my soul. That's what my ex-wife would do. They grind on each other. The Humpty Hump. See, that never caught on. That never caught on. The Humpty Hump never really caught on as far as people doing that shit. It was like Oak Tree never really caught on. You know, the bird, that shit never caught on as far as a natural dance. It was like I was watching a lot of the Soul Train shit. They was doing dances later than us. Because I remember one dance, what was it called? Oh shit, what was that dance called? But it was months before a person on Soul Train did it. And I was watching one dude. I remember he was the first dude he did it down the Soul Train line. Oh, what was it called? I can't think of the name of it, but I remember seeing the dude do it. And I was like, the motherfuckers finally caught on. And then the tapings is different, but it's like, okay, they doing what we was doing on the East Coast. And it was like the dudes in California, when Eddie Murphy's brother Charlie made fun of them, they dude even said it on Soul Train. He's like, yeah, we dress pretty effeminate. Yeah, you look at California cats how they dressed in the 70s and 80s. It wasn't until they made them Boys in the Hoods movies, but that Charlie Murphy shit showed how them mugs was dressed. They was wearing the halter tops and shit. Nobody dressed like the motherfuckers on Soul Train. I'm listening to people that's like, we couldn't wait to see what they was wearing. Yeah, nobody was wearing that shit they was wearing. Yeah, I never looked on Soul Train and like, damn, I like that shirt. Mom, you think you can get me a shirt like this guy on Soul Train? She's like, well, I got the Flag Brothers right here at the back of the ebony. Just look at this Flag Brothers. So, yeah, we wasn't copying them. I would say Soul Train copied the rest of the nation more than the nation copying them. We had the Harlem Shake and the Bankhead Bounce. Yeah, I remember that too. I remember doing that. I remember those dances. But yeah, I mean, dances that like doing the butt. You know, doing the butt is what exposed go-go to a lot of people. Like you say go-go to a lot of people, they know doing the butt. I mean, I know that the 95 South got the new commercial, but it was 2 songs. It wasn't just one, oops, there it is. It was 2 songs that was sound the same. So, but doing the butt was the one song that gave the nation hip hop. But most people was doing the butt. I remember my ex-wife, or my daughter's mother, would sing, and she was like doing it in the butt. And she's just dancing and shit. And we're in the bar, and she's like doing it in the butt. I'm like, what are you saying? She's like, I love this song, doing it in the butt. I'm like, that's not what they're saying. She's like, yes, it is. They're saying doing it in the butt. I'm like, they're not saying that. Listen. She's like, oh, my bad. She thought they was already saying doing it in the butt, and she was grooving anyway. Oh, July 4th. No, I don't celebrate that shit. You know, I don't celebrate that shit. That is the most wicked holiday spell that we come under. And I've said that many times. I thought you meant that. That is the most wicked holiday of all of them. Because if I said the metaphor is this, we dress up and wear their bullshit and then they bomb us. And we celebrate while they fucking bomb us. We watch the bombs come in on us. It's like they put us all on an island and they laugh at us. It's a mocking. It ain't no celebration of us. Shit, the Revolutionary War wasn't no celebration of us. It was really a celebration for them of taking land in Canada and taking land in America. That's why they celebrated. Because that's what the agreement was. Is we give you Canada. Defeating the enemy means kicking their ass out the whole hemisphere. Obviously, they didn't do that. They kept them across the river. Why wouldn't they chase them all the way out? Because it was agreement of taking lands. That's what it was. It was more taking lands, more than liberty. So it didn't help us. The people that was here, what the fuck we got to celebrate? That shit didn't help us. In a way, it was a guise to take land. That's what the big part of it was to separate land between, because again, the Queen still owned DC. The states had more individual powers. That's the other part about the fucked up Reconstruction. You also have the beginning of the corporation. But they figured out. They didn't want to happen what happened to Lincoln, where motherfuckers like, fuck you. We separate countries. We ain't got to put up with you. You by yourself. And then Lincoln had to convince these other people to fight for him. Well, they ain't had nothing to do with it. They didn't attack nobody in Michigan. They didn't attack nobody in New York. They attacked a federal facility. They had nothing to do with any state. They attacked the feds. And the feds is only 10 miles, by 10 miles in DC, in Maryland. That's the lie that was told. The same way they told the same lie, like I said, I've said a couple times this week, how they lied to them good old boys in Mississippi and made you think that fucking Hawaii got something to do with you. You live in Mississippi. Why you give a fuck about Hawaii? Place you'll never see. That wasn't a part of America at that time. So fuck Hawaii. That's what I'd have been like, fuck you and fuck Hawaii. That's why the South was right. The South should have been allowed to defeat the North. The people should have been smarter. We'd have been a different country if everybody said, fuck the feds. Let's take the feds down. There'd have been enough people without emotion. That's why Lee didn't help the South. Lee was one of them. A Mason that was one of them. Look at Lee's battles. They tried to leave. Lee was winning all these battles. No, he wasn't. Johnston, I think was his name. And he got injured. And then Lee took charge and they fucking lost. Watch Gods and Generals and the stupid shit Lee did. Nobody sends fucking a whole fucking battalion across a fucking open yard where fucking cannons going. Nobody fights from the low ground and you trying to attack the high ground. That's just stupid. Look at Fredericksburg. They are sitting in the high ground and they fuck the Northerners up. They fuck the feds up from the high ground. As soon as your people probe and you see they on the high ground, you pull out. Fuck them. Fight them at another day. So, 15-mile radius the Queen owns. White dude I used to work with used to say, doing it in the butt. Oh, PJ said, PJ, you might get banned for that. Did I have a Jerry curl? Hell no. I'm too old for Jerry curl. No, I never had a Jerry curl. I'll tell you what looked nice, though. And I've told this story before. The California curls look better than the Jerry curls. And it costs more. Because my homeboy, like I told this story before, my best friend went to A&T because his father was a professor there and his stepmother. So that's part of the reason why I went to A&T there. This fucker was calling me every week. He's calling me, how did my games went? But he came back. I don't know why he went to California, but he came back and he had a California curl is what they call it. It wasn't called a Jerry curl. It's a different process. It's different chemicals. They found a way to make it cheap so everybody could do it. But the California curl didn't look as, well, how do I want to describe it? It looked wet without being drippy. That was the look. It actually looked like your hair was wet without being drippy. It was like your hair held a wet looking curl. That was more the California curl, the people that paid more money to get it done. Now later, the cheaper way was the people using the bags and shit. But the original way made your hair look like the wet curl all the time. But no. I was in 79 until really I let my hair grow out in 81, 82 just to be different because everybody had low haircuts then. So I had my last afro. I had like a full beard and afro in my sophomore year. And pretty much I cut my hair bald head most of the time. The Hawaiian silk was popular too. My uncle fucked up hella pillowcases starting that shit. The Hawaiian silk. Okay, I got you. The Hawaiian silk. Yeah. And so no, that never was me. And you know what's funny is I used to work with a cat when I worked for the water department. And I'm like, you like that Jerry curl, don't you? He used to get mad. The motherfucker I'd call his hair do a Jerry curl. But he would come to work with bags on and shit. He's like, I ain't got no goddamn Jerry curl. He'd get mad at a motherfucker at me. And I'm like, nigga, you got a Jerry curl. What the fuck is you mad about? I mean, you ain't gonna beat my ass. You got a Jerry curl. Why are you mad? It ain't a Jerry curl. And he would just get mad. But he had a Jerry curl. And he would wear hats with Jerry curl. You know how stupid that looked? Like he got the Jerry curl. He's wearing the hats and shit. My man Larry. Little Larry. But he had a Jerry curl. And this was like Jerry curl was 79, 80, 81, not 85, 86. It was really kind of by 79, 80, 81. And you was kind of seeing it going away. Now, I know a lot of them brothers out west was still playing that shit, but I'm saying motherfuckers, it was cool. That shit was going away. That shit was going away by 81, 82. That's where you see who the Bamas was that kept it going. You know, Bama is the most uncoolest, unsmoothest brother. You know, that was the nickname. They would call them Bamas. Use Bama. Let your soul glow. There you go. So no, I never played that shit. You know, I had afro as a little boy, and then my junior year, I had what was called the shag, where you kind of combed your hair backwards, but you had it like a small afro on the front and boxed in the back. You know, you had it boxed in the back. And then I told you, I've said many times, I went to Pittsburgh. And when I went to Pittsburgh and saw brothers on the coast with close haircuts, you know, waves and shit, it's like, yeah, this afro shit is over. Even the small afros. Because look at Magic Johnson. When Magic played at State, Magic still got a small afro. Even look at his early years with the Lakers. He still got an afro. He's a joker from Michigan. See, he wasn't on the coast. They still, you know, wasn't cutting their hair close. But when I was on the coast, everybody cut their hair close. And that's pretty much been my style. And I already looked at my ancestors and saw them was bald. So even though my father didn't get bald till in his 70s, same with my grandfather. They didn't get bald till they got much older. But I look more like my mother's family. And at 35, it was time to let go of my hip hop. I told you the funniest hairstyle I ever saw is two hairstyles. My best friend would get his hair braided, and he had like a big bald spot in the middle. So his daughter would braid like a circle in the middle of his head to pick up in the back. But his brother was the funniest shit because his brother only had hair in the back, but he Jerry curled it. Yeah, so in the 90s, he has like no hair up here, but he has a Jerry curl in the back. So he's like has mid, you know how the mid hair be like that. He had all of it Jerry curl. And it just was the funniest looking shit to me. And I was like, why didn't you just cut your hair off? And that was my man, you know, that was my man. He's one of my friends too, but I never understood that, why he kept the back Jerry curl. But my friend was funny. I was watching, I'd be sitting over there sometimes he'd get his hair braided, and I'd watch how his daughter would have to do the circle to do the bald spot. She, you know, she'd get in the middle and there wasn't enough hair to do, so she would circle around the bald spot, then try to make the shit in the back go down. I'm like, yeah, give it up, buddy. Give it up. My little brother had the flat top with the rat tail. Okay, see, that was very, like the box cuts was, I was grown then, and that, you know, I was cutting my hair close by then. So yeah. And there was Memphis was wearing them. Okay. Memphis still had them. We fucked up the headrest in our 77. We went through plenty of pillowcases. That's funny. He had a flat top. Not to switch the topic, but fast food might be worse than Rona. I feel like it's so normalized now. Yeah. Even the air fried food, I'm guilty of that shit. It was like I forgot to take something out. So I've always, you know, that's the same processed food. but it's all the same. You know, it is worse. It is worse, and it's on purpose worse. Again, they want to take away. You know, they want to give you Alzheimer's. They want to give you dementia. All these diseases that help the medical industry, all these pills and shit. And so I mean, again, we don't live in a reality that is made for us anymore. That's telling you that the non-humans and the aliens is more and more, because the fucked up water, the fucked up air, the food, who's the food made for? Who's the food made for? I mean, we don't get anything with fruits, but what do we get with seeds? Excuse me. We get seeds with bananas, cantaloupes, honeydew, not grapes, not watermelons. You know what they try to do with watermelons? They try to give you the white seeds that won't grow. You rarely get the black seeds anymore. But so many people was complaining about watermelons with no seeds. So what they did is they made a batch that had a few black seeds and white seeds, and they started pushing them on people. I don't know if people caught that. This summer so far, the watermelons have a little more seeds in them, because people was like, I ain't buying that shit. So it's like in this, that they control all the seeds now. And so it's like, what, like we know, like, well, what can you really eat? What can you really eat? So this is the thing where you look at it as illusion. It's like, it ain't going to help me. It ain't going to hurt me. You know, no matter what this shit I eat, none of it can hurt me. That's kind of the way you got to look at it. And even if you have to take the plunge, you got to look at it like that. This shit ain't real. No matter what they put in me, you know. Because I take enough stuff where I'm not going to take more. The Euros love it. Click Chick-fil-A line full and they say we love chicken. It is. It's more than something to think about. Yeah, it is. It stays full. And it's be dumb motherfuckers, because, you know, they close on Sundays. And it'd be dumb motherfuckers in line and shit be trying to order. And it'd be a couple cars behind them. Like, motherfuckers, you know, these motherfuckers is closed on Sundays. But yeah, like we have restaurants galore here. I mean, it's everything you can think of is here. And that Chick-fil-A is just, it's surprising. We have, like, if y'all have Cane's chicken. Now, my problem with Cane's chicken is they don't have barbecue sauce. They have cane sauce, but it ain't barbecue sauce. But Cane's has the best tea in the state by far. But I think the Cane's chicken is just as good as the Chick-fil-A, and it's not much different. And I think Cane's, Chick-fil-A's lemonade is better, but Cane's tea is better. Yeah, they got the best tea by hands down. But Cane's chicken is the same to me. I mean, I don't know. I don't see that Chick-fil-A is that much stronger. Yeah. So glad my team did not trip when I said no more fast food. They used to be seeds and bananas. Damn, they really been fucked up in our food. I know, bananas still got seeds in it. Look at a banana. It still got seeds in it. They still got seeds in the bananas. Look at them. You eat a banana. It still got seeds in it. Just look at it. Like, cut it open and you'll see the seeds in it. We just eat the seeds. We got Bojangles. You know, they were trying to get a like, I remember I was trying to open a Subway and it was 150,000. No, it was only 100,000. It was 100,000 to open up a Subway. But when the Bojangles, they wanted to bring the Bojangles in Battle Creek, it was just a matter of taking these classes. You didn't really have to have a big down payment. You took these classes, you went to Atlanta, you took these classes, they set you up, and, you know, for 5 years, you were still basically not hardly making a profit. But after the 5 years, you was going to make a profit. And I watched the cat do it. And I thought about it. I talked to the people, and I was like, yeah, I don't know about that 5-year thing. But now, you know, 5 years, he's probably owned it for 20. So, you know, he went through 5 years of not owning it outright. But I know a couple people that, like here in Minneapolis, where I used to have my girl on the stroll, by Lake Street, there used to be a Bojangles like every block. And if it wasn't a Bojangles, it was a White Castle. And I mean, literally Lake Street, and let me give you some, like if you go from Lake Harriet, Lake of the Isles, and then you go like damn near to St. Paul. So we talking about Lake Street is probably 15 miles. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe I'm capping a little bit, but it's blocks and blocks. This is where most of the riot was on Lake Street. But it was Bojangles, and then they closed them all. They closed them all in the 90s. They closed the majority of them, and now it's the Bojangles and Eden Prairie. Where's the other one? Oh, they closed in the hood on the north side. They closed a Kentucky Fried Chicken, and it's a Bojangles now. Because I was dating a girl, kind of. She lived behind the Bojangles. But yep. Now we have in Michigan, they have Lee's Famous, which actually they made some of the honey chicken that I liked. Bojangles is in Virginia, and Lee's Famous recipe here in Ohio. Yeah, I know Kalamazoo had the Lee's Famous recipe. Church's chicken too. Church's chicken. The Bombay biscuit is deadly. Okay. The blueberry biscuit, the fake sugar is bad. Shit, not just the fake sugar, the real sugar is bad too. You talking about things that need to be outlawed. There's doctors that come on that say white sugar should be outlawed. It kills us. It helps with dementia. I mean, it gives you dementia and Alzheimer's as well as white sugar. That's one of the enemies of it too. And so, I mean, what do we crave? Like any of y'all smoke, you know, when you get the munchies, you want salt or you want sugar. That's why it's best to keep, like I keep nuts around and I keep fruit so I can eat some fruit. So if I need that sweet, I need to eat real sweet. Well, grapes without seeds is, again, them GMO and stuff. So it ain't the real stuff. Yes, Church's Chicken is here. All them chicken places have a nice chicken sandwich. Yeah, they do. They all do. Chick-fil-A, I thought their chicken sandwiches was better than this chicken sandwiches at Popeyes or Bojangles. Bojangles. Yep. But yeah, Bojangles. Yeah, Popeyes too. But I thought they're because what they was doing is man, for couple months we was getting them free chicken sandwiches at Chick-fil-A. I went in there one time, I got like 6 sandwiches. All these people was giving me these coupons. I went in there and I took City there and my daughter. I took us. We went there and I had 6 sandwiches. And I just bought some lemonade and bought fries, but I got free 6 sandwiches. And you would, that's the thing about an air fryer. You take that stuff home and you can air fry it back crispy. Man, I got some freaking chicken I need to eat in my fridge I forgot about. You got Zaxby's? Yeah, we got Zaxby's too. Over by the U, I want to say we got Zaxby's. We be seeing the commercials, so it's around here somewhere. But the sugar and salt. Yeah, that's you get the munchies, that's what you want, you know. You want sugar and salt. And you crave that. I mean, we crave sugar and we crave salt. It's our body physically wants it. You know, I get most of my sugar I like chocolate. And so my body will physically want chocolate. I can just see the way I feel. You know, I have to fight it. That's why I get most of the bitter chocolate. You know, I get the high cocoa chocolate. Less sugar, high cocoa. You know, American chocolate is milk chocolate. That's what we have, but that ain't real chocolate. Chocolate is cocoa. You know, more of the cocoa is what you want, and not that not cocoa powder. You want the real cocoa. You can get it. World Foods or whatever it's called, Fresh Foods, whatever it's called. They have real cocoa. You can get the real stuff instead of that fake stuff. It's like sugar cane in itself. You cut some cane, what do? You suck the sweet out of it and you throw the sugar away, you know. But yeah, it's funny too. This is my son. Somebody told my son that it was ghetto spaghetti is putting sweet in spaghetti, you know. But that's a way to get the acid out. You know, a lot of people don't like all the acidity, so a lot of people started putting a little bit of sugar in it to cut the acid. And that's how I grew up on it. I grew up on, again, you know, eating. I had a aunt that was Italian. My uncle married an Italian woman. I saw her do it, so that's what I copied her. She put that shit there, and she started twirling it with a spoon, and so that was how I ate it from then on. It wasn't until my youngest son was imitating me and it irritated his mother. because we was eating it with a spoon and a fork. You know, you stab it and then you twirl the shit and you put it in the spoon and you eat it. But yeah. But that's, and one of my friends was telling my son that was the ghetto way. But my grandmother never lived in the ghetto. She always lived on the farm her whole life. So she wasn't exposed to any ghetto. It was just to kill the acid content of the spaghetti and the marinara. You put a little sweet in it. But my son was told that was the ghetto way. No, that's the way of cutting all that acid. That's all. I tell you what, I'm glad I have to turn my other phone in because these damn phones, it's way harder to manipulate these motherfuckers. Yeah, take better pictures and shit, but the operating system is not better. I don't care what anybody says, it does not have a better operating system. The operating system of Google is a better operating system than this shit they got. Okay. But it's going to save that phone for when I get rid of it. But this shit, I still got everything on it. So I'm glad I didn't have to give it up. I'd have been really fucked up without it. I like them sweet, spicy Doritos. They sweet and salty. I like caramel corn. I like Chicago popcorn too. You know, that has all three of them in there. I like that too. I grew up on that, and so I like caramel corn though. But I like the Chicago style popcorn. You know, has all of them in there. I like that too. You know, I'm a cashew person. I like cashews. I just ate a big bag of pistachios. I like slightly salted pistachios. You know, slightly. You know, my thumb is like numb. I done popped so many holes open, shells open that my thumb is numb. Because I don't think pistachios without the shell don't taste right to me. I don't like them without the shell. I like Garrett's popcorn. There you go. I love that kettle corn. Yeah, I love kettle corn too. Yeah, I love kettle corn too. I grew up on that. That was the name I was looking for. But yeah, I love kettle corn too. I grew up on that stuff. Being from the Midwest. Yeah. Just like I like Chicago pizza. You know, I like the fat type of pizza. I wasn't exposed to the New York pizza until I went to North Carolina. So all I knew was fat like pizza. Like Godfathers. When Godfathers first came out, they gave you Chicago deep dish pizza. Now, Michigan, you had Little Caesars, comes out of Michigan. And I want to say Domino's does too. And so we was exposed to those kind of pizzas. But I was also exposed to the Chicago deep dish pizzas, just like a Coney, you know, like if Nick Taylor listening, the Coney Island dogs in Detroit. I mean, that's a Coney Island dog. That's in Detroit. Coney Island is in Detroit. Them is the ultimate hot dogs that you can get. So, you know, that's the kind of hot dogs I like. Is the Coney Island hot dogs, but Coney Island out of Detroit. That franchise. I don't know how many is left, but that is the kind I like. Try them sriracha flavored almonds. Oh no, I don't like them. I got almonds in there too. I don't like sriracha. I don't mind the honey almonds. I don't mind just regular almonds too. You got to just be careful with almonds to see where they come from because they used to put some fucked up chemicals on almonds, but since I think they've stopped. Looks like we have Little Caesars in Evansville, Indiana. But yeah, Little Caesars, like a house I lived at. I was asking my brother this. Could he remember where the Little Caesars was? Because we lived literally right next to one. And it had the Little Caesar that rotated. And the shit looked funny in the wintertime. You know, he's in a toga and you know the one that goes pizza, but he's on he's on this pole and he's spinning on top of a pizza. He's standing on top. It's like Little Caesar, and that was the first type of pizza I had was Little Caesar's pizza. But we went to Chicago so much that you know when we get pizza in Chicago, it would be the deep dish pizza. So that's what Godfather started out as is a deep dish kind of place. That's why I loved them at first because I brought Chicago pizza to Michigan compared to Domino's, compared to Little Caesars. But Little Caesar was the first pizza I had because we lived next door to one. And that had to be, I was a little boy. I was about 3 years old. So you're talking about, what, 63, 64? Mm-hmm. The first time I had pizza was, it was 60 years ago. 50-some years ago. I wasn't used to flat pizza. Battle Creek made a place where they cut it in little squares, and it was a flat pizza. And that's in Battle Creek, that's everybody's favorite pizza. And I'm like, what is this? I don't like flat pizza. Like, I'm hungry. I'm not going to eat these little damn squares. I got to get 100 squares to get full. But Battle Creek, that was their favorite. Like my ex-wife, that was her favorite pizza, flat and cut into little damn squares, little pieces. So you got to put 100 on your plate to get full. Everybody's walking around with 100 little squares. I don't know how many pizzas that took, but I like nuts, but not with all that salt. There you go. And you can get them now without salt. Yep, you can get them now without salt. Oh, well, guys, I think I'm getting tired. I roasted pumpkin seeds. Oh, pumpkin seeds are nice, lightly seasoned. So good. Remind me a little bit about popcorn. They do. Pumpkin seeds are really good. I like pumpkin seeds too. Have the nice flat pizza here in Dayton. Okay, Casanos. All right. Yes, I don't really like flat pizza. I don't really like it. I like the fat pizza. None of my children like it like that, though. My daughter likes any pizza. She likes any, well, as long as it's pepperonis. But I've been going to the deli to get the pepperoni, and they serve the big ones. But they taste better, and they don't have, nitrates come out of vinegar. That's where most nitrates are added, is a type of vinegar, gives you natural nitrates. So you have to see how much that it's vinegar nitrated and not the artificial chemical preservative. So, well, I'm getting tired, guys. I thank you for the attention. I appreciate it. Crazy Sarge. Wow, I'm about to meditate with this now. Thank you so much. That is the bomb. And I'll tell you if it says its name tonight, but it's okay if it doesn't. I'm very impressed. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. What kind of frozen pizza do you like? What is it called? We got a good frozen pizza here that they make. It's called what is it called? Mama Lupa, Mama Lusa, Mama something that is called this. And these frozen pizzas cost about 10 plus just for the frozen pizza. Mama Luciano or something like that. They're probably the best frozen pizza they get up here. So Jack's has a nice frozen pizza. Jack's, okay. Oh, there's a couple people like Jack's. I think it's called Mama Lucy, maybe. I'd have to find out. But that's kind of the best frozen pizza here that costs the most. Well, I will be back on tomorrow night. So
Yeah.
I'll have something more to say. So I'm not a New York rapper or a LA gangbanger. I'm just an old school Detroit crack slinger. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I've been your host. 8 Wind is timeless. I'm a time walker, and I am a time lord. Till we meet again. Thank you.